We're still discussing this issue of the NNPC, the amount of litres and the discrepancy and the allegation by the customs boss. And we have on the phone, I think, Dr. Emeka Onyeka Obiere. He's not yet connected back. We'll get him shortly. But I think, was it Dr. Nima wanted to say something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I asked a question about the calculation, independent calculation, because it seems like we can't take the word of our agencies the way we should take them.
Yeah.
You know, we ought to believe whatever they say. But right now, we're taking it with a pinch of salt because we keep hearing contradicting figures. So my question to him was, based on his financial analysis, does he feel like the actual the figure they are telling us now is the actual cost that will bring petrol to every average Nigerian, which is about over 400 naira? That's the actual cost to bring the fuel, and I'm waiting for him to tell us his own analysis.
I'd like to open our phone lines. Let us hear from Nigerians. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read it. Do we have any tweets already?
I don't want to.
So I just also wanted to say that there's something that I'm aware of, I used to be aware of, and this was a scam that was, was discovered even during the Jonathan's regime, where companies would claim that they had imported a certain amount of products. Some would import much less than they would put down, and some would not import at all. But they will still go back to PPRA and get payments for this. So if, our guest was saying something about the 38 million discrepancy difference, if we really had those things physically available, there will be trucks that will be loading them and they will be moving, that it will be so, it will not be hard to miss, the number of trucks that will be moving this. So this 38 billion, are they real products or are they invisible products? Are these products written on paper to just say that they're 98 or they're 60 or maybe they're just 30, but we're adding on top just to get the amount, the amount from government, but really we are not buying.
Let me take this call from Godwin. Yola. Good morning, Godwin. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so it's to do with, I'm just really impressed with the analysis on the number of trucks that come in that should be coming daily into the depots and moving that huge number of liters of oil, and the situation around most of the states where you have porous borders where you see a lot of filling stations around the border towns that you hardly see them have a drop of oil to sell within the week, within the month, sometimes running 2 years. But you see trucks come around border towns, and a lot of questions about how our security agencies manage the borders are doing their work. I know, yes, a lot of the borders are porous, but you see a lot of this oil moving outside to neighboring countries at rates that you just don't know. There are filling stations that these fuels are not ending there, but they're simply shipping them to other places. And yeah, in terms of the subsidy, in terms of the suffering, not just bearing the brunt here. So a lot needs to be done as to where these things are going to. I stay around here in Adamawa and places where you see, a lot of activities in terms of this oil being moved out. And so it's not really Nigerians consuming all of this, and we keep carrying the load of others.
Thank you very much, Godwin, because I can't hide you. Now, let me come to you, Nima, because somebody was saying somewhere in the papers last week that we need to engage the use of the NICOMSAT satellite. We have a satellite that can actually detect movements. Ordinary, is it the one that happened at NSAS? They got a different news, international news station to tell us the trucks that were coming in and shooting at the protesters. Now, if we don't even have, if NICOMSAT is not working, let's use the same Google app to figure out how many trucks are leaving NNPC per time. To even record, because you can't tell me, the same issue we're having that this, who is feeding Boko Haram? Who is supplying ammunition to bandits? There are ways of detecting. So is it that the government is creating a total blind eye? Because you cannot tell me that nobody knows the actual figure that is moving out of our country. Not tell me you are waiting for 1 month to be noticing the porous borders. Oh, I saw 10 trucks. I saw 100. No. You got to have a better system of a satellite telling you how many trucks are leaving your country at per time.
So someone wanted to explain the meetings happening abroad with Nigerian presidential aspirants and said there's an unseen hand that we are working for. You know, I've always said we don't know who we are paying the subsidy for. So based on what Miriam said, NICOMSAT will not see truck.
I like
Yes, because it's not by truck. You don't have to deliver any petrol to get paid subsidy. You just have to get paperwork. We had it in Jonathan's time, the subsidy trial, subsidy scam, and nobody eventually went to jail. But if it's for goat meat, somebody would have gone to jail.
Exactly.
But for that magnitude of theft.
Yes, Emir Sanusi mentioned it then, the documentation.
So, you see, Sanusi's team, Okonjo-Iweala and that team, were the kind of, they are the kind of people we need. Even if it is not 100% truth, it will have an element of truth of the kind of scam happening. The reason this custom boss is speaking now is because I remember he had been someone that this is smuggling and it's under your watch, you must explain it. And he's saying, it's not possible. And that's why he was, vehemently questioning that NNPC should explain how. Because he never see that kind of smuggling happening. Now, the truth is, no
for those of us that are late comprehending people, I'm getting it, the full picture now.
I just need to get somebody and present paperwork. I get paid subsidy. I have already supplied fuel. Right. NNPC just needs to say it's 98 million we missed. They don't need to explain how it is consumed.
Okay, let me pause you for a second.
I said that you should do
let me pause you for a second. I have Eze holding for my jar. I'll come back to you, Nima. Good morning, Eze. Are you there?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Live.
Okay, you see, the issue is we can't put the past before the horse, right? Because our borders are meant to be well developed. We need to develop the borders, have a proper structure. We all see what's attainable in Europe and in America, where the borders are solidly manned by customs. When we do that, these trucks, they are not invisible trucks. We have trackers, we have technology to track them from beginning to end. They cannot pass the bad routes, that's the smuggling routes, because that is where customs will not concentrate on. But if you go to up north, the border between Nigeria and Niger, you understand, it's just a walk-through thing. So our borders need to be well-manned.
Yes.
Then, of course, we know that this is like a syndicate. From DPL to the customs, they are all, the money that goes around per litre, the mass times volume, it's huge. It can go around. You understand? The police, the customs, and all law enforcement agents are
Mr. Eze, thank you. I mean, you're absolutely correct, Mr. Eze. So we are all talking about how much we can earn and save from subsidy and then put it elsewhere. But going back to what Nima had said, because I want to be sure I hear you, it's one thing to assume that the trucks are pushing out. So I'm saying that NICOMSAT should give us satellite pictures. But there's another angle that, hey, it's not physical trucks that are moving. It's paper that is moving from point A to point B. Because we even say it, because if we say introduce technology to reduce paper movement, but even the technology that is reduced, we see what happened in the electronic thing they did in the ports. What's it called? The e-tracking system. How people circumvented that system, where you have a system that's supposed to tell you when to move into the depot to fill, but because brother, sister know somebody, you go, jump the queue, and then they alter it. So it's still a human, it's still us. So we need proper investigation to know exactly how this works.
The self-built tanks, those ones that we know, when you buy a normal 504, or suddenly the 504 is as high as a truck. That tank maybe will carry 50 litre, 100 litre across the border. So you see people carrying petroleum products in gallons on bikes across the border. That you can track. But if you want to use a truck, the size that our guest was talking about, how can somebody miss that? Except that's never moved.
Yeah, okay, let's take Josephine. Good morning, Josephine.
Yes, Momo.
How are you doing, Auntie Josephine?
Beautiful ladies.
How are you doing?
How are you?
Good.
Morayo, Nigeria problem is we have killers, not leaders. This is the same issue Jonathan said. The subsidy fraud is unbearable. Let Nigerians bear with it. Let them remove it. Let them remove it because he saw the fraud there. Buhari said there was nothing like subsidy. He should apologize to Nigeria, and that position that he's holding as the petroleum minister first is faulty because he's supposed to answer us. Up till now, 7 years, there could not be one refinery. At least they should borrow money and be a refinery. All this nonsense, we will not see it. Saudi Arabia, this Russia war now, they are gaining. Nigeria is losing coming to the government, the first thing they're supposed to do, because everybody knows electricity, everybody depends on this petroleum product. The first thing they're supposed to do is their administration. They're supposed to build refinery. All this nonsense we are hearing, that supplies, they are not supplying, they are collecting money. They are collecting money at the detriment of Nigeria abroad.
Thank you very much, Josephine. You see, what's so annoying is that this issue of subsidy removal has become a political tool. You see how President this year was ready to remove subsidy, but then the politics season, campaign started, he said, we cannot remove subsidy. You know, they have to leave it. Next administration, whoever that is, would have to do it. So you keep making it a political conversation where it's based on, it's going to determine you're coming back. It's a party decision that if we vote, if we put it in, APC will lose. If we put it in, PDP will lose. Stuff like that. It's a conversation that
yes, but also over time, I feel that the Nigerians are more aware of what it really means. When this conversation of the subsidy or no subsidy started, especially during the Jonathan administration, many of us were not really sure of the games that were happening behind the scenes. But we have had enough time to understand, oh, okay, this is not as, as we thought. And so Nigerians right now, you'd hear there are many of us are on the part of, see, this thing does not look like it's an honest venture. Let us take it away and face the music the way it should be done. So I'm hoping, because this is this.
It's on your front page,
This conversation started because government cannot afford to do this anymore. Yeah. Nigerians are also speaking. You know, stakeholders are now involved in this conversation of if we collect this money, we will not do anything for your roads. There will be no capital projects, nothing going forward. So now Nigerians are looking at it carefully, and I feel that this government, this administration can just do better.
Let me take Lima.
I'll
come to you. I'll take your tips from you. Let me take Lima. Lima, are you there?
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. My own opinion on this, the subsidy stuff should be removed completely. Because the whole thing is a scam. The president said that some years back that he is not even aware of subsidy, that subsidy never exists anywhere. So I don't know the reason why they are still giving an excuse that what we consume in days, monthly, yearly is this. They should forget about those figures. They're all scams. Please, I beg them. They should know that Nigeria is suffering. The fact remains that we are suffering. We all know that. So this thing should be removed. There are some of us that are using vehicles that don't even worth using vehicles for now. But why are we forcing ourselves into this? Let them remove it. If the price go to 800 per litre, it doesn't matter. If you don't have the power to afford it, drop your car and get an alternative. Thank you very much.
So the truth is, I don't think that the average Nigerian of today can afford 462 naira per litre for petrol. Because if they are estimating this to be it, we cannot afford this. And we must say it live. So the challenge will be for the government to let's block every loophole possible in the chain of getting the price of petrol down without paying subsidy. If we have local refineries, every single local refinery that we have should get crude oil first before it is being exported. Number two, if we know that we're going to be taking out refinery, our last guest already mentioned that we can decide that 50% of the subsidy will be going to the local governments to provide palliative public transportation. Because the reason everybody is using private car is because the public transportation isn't conducive enough. If there's an alternative, we will go with it. If you have not provided any alternative, you cannot impose hardship on the people you haven't given any other option to. It is hard enough as it is. Every time I buy, my petrol consumption price has increased so much. I'm like, every time I'm buying fuel, I'm like, are we buying fuel again? Are we buying fuel again? And imagine what it would be like if it goes higher. It is biting everybody. It is multiple taxation on all fronts. From everywhere you look to, there's inflation. So
let me say this.
So let's be realistic about what is achievable.
The hypocrisy of it that I say is that we are here and somebody imports a brand. Let me just use the brand, Kellogg's. We don't put down. It's being produced in Nigeria. There's an imported version. Or you import some brand that is an American or British brand. and you bring it, and then you are paying exactly what the British man or the American is paying in this country. You're paying higher for it here because you imported it here. So you can buy an American brand, but this is an international product that's been sold to the world on a certain figure, certain price. That's been imported to your country. Yes, you have the capacity to produce your own Kellogg's, your own cereal, your own fuel, but you're not here producing it. Yeah. But you chose to import this same thing that from UK, you're importing the same products. By the time you bring it to Nigeria, you expect me to. So you're paying £100, for example, for your own Kellogg's, cereal, right? Yes. Now you bring it to Nigeria, you expect to pay 50 naira for it because, hey, it's in Nigeria, we don't have money, but we want to eat Kellogg's cereal. So the point I'm trying to make is that it's an international product.
Yes, and
there are different ports in the world where they're paying $2, £1 for this product per litre. We are not paying the exact same thing. Yes. It's been subsidized. So the reality is that it's not until we start producing our own and your modular refineries work and Dangote works. Until then, it's the international price we must be realistic. So the government is saying 462 to the litre. Guess what? Let's begin to adjust. Just like you said, it might be painful, it will be painful. When now, me and Tope, we start sharing generator, or we start planning with the community. Let us see how we can share it. There are different ways. The point is that it is our reality. We don't produce it just yet. And if you want this product, which is an international product, you have to pay the price. We can't let the government keep subsidizing, and then money is going to the pockets of some people.
I get your analogy, and it makes sense. But let me tell you where the problem is, using your cereal analogy. Yes. So you bring this in. Yes. When you bring it in, you put into consideration the amount you have brought it in, the transportation cost, whatever. That's what they call the landing cost, right? So what Nigerians are complaining about is that you said you bought in 100. And you see the way subsidy works is it's still our money. We are paying you for 100. But then we find out that it's not 100 you brought in. It's not 100 boxes of cereal you brought in. It's actually 50. So the extra money we gave you was for what? Where did that money go? And then and then now you're saying, okay, we're not going to do the subsidy. We'll do it. You will pay exactly what it costs to pay. But we're saying, how do we even trust that this is the amount to pay? We could not trust you with the amount that you said you were bringing in. How can we trust you with the logistics amount that you're talking about? And that is where the conversation of, if we have data, why aren't people looking at this data? Data would not lie. I mean, if there's no human intervention.
Nima, going still on your analogy. So the transparency we seek is not to reduce the cost. Is to reduce or to stop the subsidy, because even if it's only 50 you're bringing in, you're still going to pay it at a premium price. Yes. So it's not going to reduce the cost. It's only going to tell us, okay, I don't have to pay this extra money because then I can save that money for something else.
Let me also tell you what's annoying. Yes. So I've been paying you that you're bringing 100 boxes. Yeah. And I've been, instead of 50, that 50, I would have used it to build my own manufacturing company here long ago. And I would have been able to bring it. So it now seems like you're deliberately sabotaging me so that I am not able to produce, so I can keep putting money into this.
That's the real issue.
Those are the questions.
Those are the real issues. We have to run, but let's take a few comments. I know Nima had some comments.
The fact that our refineries are incapacitated is the biggest fraud. The states and other private individuals are not allowed to refine is another scam. These anomalies are happening to enable few people to loot us in the name of subsidy payment. Sanusi says, NNPC Limited was sold out to marketers. What would be next for now? And Chigozie says, the truth is that a country like Nigeria should not have business with importation of all petroleum products. That is the real case. We should stop looking at what is actually being imported. Let's focus on having more than 50 refineries working efficiently in Nigeria.
Okay, we have to wrap up because, we have to do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But I think in a nutshell, what we seek from our government is transparency. Now, NNPC is saying they are going to be allowing their books to be opened. I don't know how far what they mean by that. Now they are somewhat. But let us see. Once they offer their books to be audited, let us see what we'll review what we find there. But the real conversation with Nigerians, the reality we must begin to have a conversation on is the real price we may be faced to pay going forward, if indeed we are serious about taking out subsidy.